we are going to listen about the importance of dialogue in Nigeria, and our esteemed speaker is going to be Father Professor Cornelius Afebu Omonokhua, who holds Masters in Systematic Theology and PhD in African Christian Theology. He is a Roman Catholic priest and has worked in many parishes as such. He also was a visiting lecturer to several education institutions in Nigeria and was a secretary in the Department of Mission and Dialogue of the Catholic Secretariat of Nigeria in Abuja, and then director of this institution and a consultor representing Africa to the Commission for Religious Relations with Muslims in Vatican City. So he's an expert in dialogue and conflict management. He's presently the Executive Secretary in the Nigeria Interreligious Council and Secretary General of the West Africa Interreligious Council. So we know, as people involved in the interreligious dialogue, we know that we face problems, and those problems not only come from the side we are going to meet, so not only when we are trying to find dialogue partners, but also from our own community members. And as we know, the Quran and the Bible, so both Holy Scriptures can be used to justify violence and can be used to justify peace. Of course, it depends on interpretation. So now we are going to listen to NOTRE AETATE at 60 Reflections and Perspectives on Christian-Muslim Dialogue. The floor is yours.
Your Eminence, John Cardinal Nayekon, my Lord, spiritual and temporal, ladies and gentlemen, greetings from the co-chairman of the Nigeria Interreligious Council, His Eminence, Archbishop Daniel Oko, President, Christian Association of Nigeria, and His Eminence Alhaji Muhammad Sahad Abubakar, CFR MNI, President General, Nigeria Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, and the Sultan of Sokoto. Greetings from the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, at the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, who is physically represented in this conference by our amazing sister and mother, Mrs. Ochaya Ofoma Anejo, Director, Affairs of Former Head of State. She's physically here with us on behalf of Nigeria government, just to let us know that Nigeria government and Christians and Muslims work together in collaboration. I hope that I will be able to present these 10 pages paper in 10 minutes. And our topic is practical interfaith cooperation and community dialogue, the importance of dialogue in Nigeria. Here in Frankfurt, Germany, on this day, Wednesday, November 5th, 2025. On a very sad note, on the 9th of July 10, 2025, three seminarians, Japheth Jesse, Joshua Aleboa, and Emmanuel Abi were abducted from the Immaculate Conception Minor Seminary, Iwianokbodi, That is where we have the first seminary in the whole of Nigeria. The Catholic Diocese of Auchi, Edo State, Nigeria. Last night, November 3, 2026, I could not sleep because we received the sad news that Seminary Emmanuel Alabi lost his life in the course of the ordeal. May his soul and the souls of all the faithful who have been killed by the terrorist bandits and kidnappers rest in perfect peace. Nostra Aetate has opened the window for a bright light to illumine the darkness that had caused mutual suspicion and lack of trust between Christians and Muslims. With Nostra Aetate, we can no longer take the abuse of religion by bad adherents as a principle and norm. We can now acknowledge that some Muslims who are partners in dialogue have been advised by some radical Muslims that they are wasting time in dialogue with Christians and vice versa. But if there were no dialogue between Christians and Muslims, many nations would be lured into religious war. The call of Nostra Aetate is to explore the sincerity in interreligious dialogue. We know so much about this Nostra Aetate, so let us jump a little. Nostra Aetate has made dialogue an obligation for every Catholic, and I will extend to say every Christian. So the church regards with esteem the Muslims. They adore the one God, living and subsisting in himself, merciful and all-powerful, the creator of heaven and earth. With Nostra Aetate, salvation can now be experienced outside the church, before they say, ab ecclesia nulla salus, but now it is open to everybody who worship God sincerely. Nostra Aetate 3. Now, how did Nigeria Church, or Nigeria as a whole, respond to Nostra Aetate? The Catholic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria in 2002 created the Department of Mission and Dialogue. And the first director of that department is Monsignor Hippolyte Adigwe, who is now 60 years old. We are preparing to celebrate him 60 years in the priesthood, not in age. In other words, he was ordained the year the document Nostra Aetate came out. And the second director that took over from Monsignor Adigwe is me, Reverend Father Cornelius Omonokhua. And the third director is Reverend Father Joseph Tile Nwange. And the incubate director is Father Dr. Lawrence Chike Emehe. Is an incubate, and he has PhD in Islamic and Arabic studies. Now, this department has done a lot by way of visiting different parts of the country. We have provincial coordinators, we have diocesan directors. But I would like us to move faster to say that Nigeria is the only country that I know, and I can speak with the evidence before me, having represented the whole of Africa in the Vatican for 5 years, that it is only in Nigeria you could get all the Christians come together to form an association, the Christian Association of Nigeria. And it is only in Nigeria, as far as I know, that all the Muslims will come together to form the Nigeria Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs. And these two bodies were stimulated in 1998 by Pope John Paul II, the icon of interreligious dialogue, when he challenged Nigeria Christians and Muslims to form an association to address the issue of peaceful coexistence. And in 1999, something happened. The religious leaders, Christians and Muslims, came together to form the Nigeria Interreligious Council, NIREC. And I know about this because of Prelate Dr. Sunday Umba, who told us that when these elders came together, they were highly supported by government, the then President General Olusegun Obasanjo. Now, NIREC has done a lot of interventions, but let me just mention the correct one. Some people here belong to the WhatsApp group of NIREC Public Webinar. And every Tuesday, we have webinar online. So many countries join to enlighten the public that we can make it. And the aim is to make sure that we discover how religion is being weaponized by our politicians. And NIREC is not just standing aloof, we are connected internationally under Religious for Peace, the headquarters in New York, then Africa Council for Religious Leaders, the headquarters in Nairobi, Kenya, and we are the headquarters of West Africa Interreligious Council in Abuja. We have our big collaborators, somebody who is sitting right here, Mr. Emra Ilgal, who is representing UFUC, and the UFUC Dialogue Foundation has done a lot in collaboration with NIREC to ensure that there is peace in our country. And we collaborate a lot with government. As I'm talking to you, Nigeria is working very hard to let the whole world know that our citizens, they are being killed, but by who? We have the terrorists, the Boko Haram. In 2014, a lot of bandits came from other countries into our country, and they were brought in by some of our politicians who wanted power by fire, by force. And today, to get them out of our country has become a problem. Yes, you must have been hearing about America declaring Nigeria as a country of particular concern. But let it be known to you today that Nigeria, yes, there is a lot of killing. The war is not between Christians and Muslims. The war, rather, is between the bandits, the terrorists, and the Nigerian citizens. And so, right now as I'm talking to you, the Christians and the Muslims in Nigeria are working with the government to make sure that the needful is done, that we have peace. We don't even need American weapons. We don't need them to come to Nigeria to come and help us kill anybody. But what we want, yes, we want to right the wrong. Somehow, the government have not done their best, but they have done a lot. So I want to just say that by the grace of God, Nigeria will be great. In my village, one old man prayed one day and said, may Irekpa, that is my village, be greater than Lagos, the capital city of at that time of Nigeria. And some people say, can we say amen to this? But today, there is hope. My village has everything except one. That is long queues and traffic jam. So I want to let us know today that with NIREC, Nigeria Interreligious Council, there is a lot we can do. We are beginning to build trust in one another. But you should also know that if there was no NIREC, by now Nigeria would have been plugged into religious war. But it is also good to let you know that by the grace of God, we are working. Nigeria Church is working with the Pontifical Council for Interreligious Dialogue that has now been named the Dicastery of Interreligious Dialogue. And so where do we go from here? We have to continue to sing the message of hope, because Nigeria, we have everything it takes for us to live in peace. Yes, we have Boko Haram. Boko Haram is not the one that is carrying out the constitution. The constitution of Nigeria is very clear that we have freedom of religion. We have freedom of religion, freedom of thought, conscience, and religion. Every person is entitled to this freedom, including the freedom to change their religion or belief. Freedom to manifest and propagate. Individuals have the freedom to practice their religion through worship, teaching, and observance, either alone or with others. So I invite all of you to pray with us that one day this insecurity in our country will stop. that one day Boko Haram, the bandits, God will instill in them to know that to kill one person is as if you have killed a multitude, according to the Holy Quran, chapter 5, verse 32. So I thank you all for listening, and I'm sure if you have a lot of questions that you may need to ask, we are available. The one I cannot answer, His Eminence John Cardinal Onayeko is here to fill in the gaps. Thank you very much.
I invite our speakers to join me on the podium. So now I invite you to ask questions or make comments.
Thank you for the presentations and all the good work that you reported on. My question is, what are some of the difficult questions that you had to endure in your efforts in your work?
Is the question to all speakers?
Yes, all the speakers. Yeah. What were some of the difficult questions? What were the elephants in the room that you had to face?
Okay, some of the challenges. Okay. Yeah. Because of the happenings in Nigeria, this question of terrorism, banditry, that is not stopping. Those of us who have been in dialogue since 1991, even our own Christian brothers and sisters think we are wasting time. And for the Muslims, some Muslims think that they too are wasted time. And some people think that Boko Haram, the bandits, they ought to have been in dialogue, or they ought to have been dialogue partners with us. But the reality is that, like Fethullah Gulen would say, a true Muslim cannot be a terrorist, and a terrorist cannot be a Muslim. And the Nigerian Muslims have come out to say, even though when these terrorists are killing, they shout Allahu Akbar, they are not representing Islam. And the big problem is, like this present dispensation. You know, these American government say they are persecuting Christians and that they are committing genocide. That the Muslims are saying, but no, it's not only Christians that they are killing, they are only killing Muslims. And some Christians are telling the Muslims, why did you not cry out, just like the Christians have cried out? What we have been doing so far in NIREC is that when there are serious national issues that have to do with religion, because we know that matters of religion can be very sensitive, we ensure that we do a statement that is signed by the co-chairmen of NIREC. And these co-chairmen are, one, the President of CAN and the President General of Nigeria Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs. CAN means Christian Association of Nigeria. Then the second challenge is why the elite are carrying out dialogue of theological exchange. The killings are happening in the villages. When His Eminence was talking today, he said that His Eminence emphasized dialogue of life, where you go to the market, you don't ask, is this person a Christian or Muslim? And of course, you know that there are forms of dialogue. You have dialogue of encounter, the courage to ask the person you think is killing you, what have I done to you? So the biggest challenge we have so far is this banditry and terrorism. At the beginning, I told you one of our seminarians has just been killed. Then the second challenge is grassroots dialogue. How do we engage the Almajiris, for example, in this dialogue? What do we do to empower them? And we have come to discover that the greatest problem we have is ignorance and illiteracy, where the people are not trained. In fact, what we are experiencing today is the mistake that was made long time ago when the people were not allowed to go to school. Take, for example, the issue of Sharia, for example. The Boko Haram, they say they want Sharia, they don't want any Western education, and they want to be sure that, in fact, they want to create a state for themselves, an Islamic state. And the Muslims who are resisting them, they are killing them. So it has been a really big challenge. And right now, I think we need prayers, especially now that the federal government is trying to really do the best. And I sympathize with the federal government. Why? Because this government inherited this problem that started in 2014, 2015. Because some of our politicians have come out openly to confess that they were the one that brought in the bandit to unseat the then incumbent president, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan. So I don't know if I'm answering your question, but this is a very big challenge. But if, Cardinal Turan, when he was the president of Pontifical Council, PCID, he came to Nigeria. He was afraid to even get out of his aircraft. We have to wear special tags to go into the aircraft to bring him out. And he said he was not going to go to Sokoto because they have just killed somebody there. But at the end of the day, we were able to visit Sokoto, visit Kano, visit many other places. And when Cardinal was going to go back, he said, Nigeria is full of surprises. That what you meet on ground, what he has met is not what he's seeing on the television in Rome. When you really visit Nigeria, you discover that these killings we are hearing all over the place is not affecting the relationship between the normal Christians and normal Muslims. And I deliberately use the word normal because it is abnormal to kill. And these people who are carrying out this criminal activity, I don't think it's really religion. I think it's more of weaponization of religion. And the politicians find it very convenient because they are become easy tools in their hands to be used. But I think I want to stop here, except if His Eminence has something to add. I mean, His Eminence John Cardinal Nayeko, maybe you have something to add.
I want to ask, do you see in your own context a role of women in interfaith? Do you know such organizations that focus on women? And what's particular about, in your own context, not general, your own context, what the special role they have in peace maybe or interfaith? Thank you.
So maybe first we take the question on the event or practice you would like to advise to others to use. Yeah?
Yeah, in Nigeria, the role women play in dialogue is very prominent. Then the religious, for example, the women religious, we have the Nigeria Conference of Women Religious. They have, they are very much involved in interreligious dialogue. Then we have the Women of Faith Network, that is directly under Religious for Peace and Africa Council for Interreligious Dialogue. Then there are, in a Christian Association of Nigeria, there is
women wing of the Christian Association of Nigeria the way we can. Then among the Muslims, you have the Form 1, Federation of Muslim Women. And these women are really very active. For those of you who are in our NIREC WhatsApp group, you see the kind of discussion and the argument. But I think that to some extent, women are even more active in interreligious dialogue in Nigeria. Women have a way of calming tense situation. Like recently, there was really tension in the country. But the way the women came on board, the kind of things they say, the way they put on WhatsApp groups and others, it has also helped a lot. So I think that in Nigeria, women are really doing a lot. They are doing both at home and abroad. And of course, women wouldn't want their children to go out and be involved in interreligious war or conflict. So I think this is because there are structures. The structures are very solid. And when you see our Muslim women talking, you really know that these women are enlightened. You see the Christian women talking, you will know they are really enlightened. And I am just thinking that if, by the grace of God, we are able to do a counter-narrative, a kind of, I think we need mental re-engineering, change of value and change of attitude, just to know that this world does not belong to us. Have some sense of eschatology, that when we die, all of us, we are going to be accountable to God. And I think things will really be better. It is just because we really don't have, in the past, like when the time them Cardinal Nayeko were a student, they are sure that when I graduate today, the next day I will get a job. Even while you are serving, there is a job waiting for you. But now you have a graduate roaming the street, there's no work. And this kind of people can easily find employment in the hands of the bandits and the terrorists. So it's an opportunity to call on government, thank God our sister is here, that they should really work hard to make sure that they change the narrative by empowering the youth and letting the youth have some sense of meaning. Let them, because it's like the future have been stolen away from the youth. And when you look at this ladder, the scale in the society, you have the top level, the middle class, and the bottom class. The middle class, they influence the top, but the top, and the top too can use the middle class to oppress the poor. But I think there needs to be a balance, and the women have a way of making sure this is done. But I just pray that they will have enough courage to continue. Mm-hmm. Nigeria will send our women out to go and study Islam and the interreligious dialogue. And one of them is here, Sister Louise Marishen Agba, HFSN. Sister, where are you? Okay, mm-hmm. She is an Islamic, is a scholar. She's doing her doctorate right now. And Reverend Father Inanureme is here doing the same thing. Father has gone? Mm-hmm. Okay, Father is here. They are Nigerians. They are studying here in Germany. And we have many of them. When I was in the seminary, for example, it's compulsory that you must pass Islamic theology. And me sitting down here, I'm a professor of dialogue and conflict management. And I'm a Catholic Reverend Father. Thank you.
Okay. And